What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Kinstretch class by Stretch Effect. My name is Coach Luke, and I'll be taking you through today's 25-minute spine-focused Kinstretch class. So it's going to be similar to some classes that we've done in the past for the spine, where we're going to continue to build. We're going to continue to get more specific to the areas that you need to pay attention to and that you need to focus on, so you can get good, clean, healthy spinal motion. So we'll start with our spine cars. We're going to start with the cervical cars. We'll do our segmental cat-cow rotation, and then we're going to break the spine down into two components, right? So lower and upper, and then we'll break down into three: lower, mid, and upper, and then we will just continue to build more specificity into our spinal training. So start in a collapsed quadruped, but you can also be falling or standing, so you do whatever is most comfortable. We're going to start with two cervical cars, so I'm taking shoulders back and down, squeezing those armpits, fists down to the floor, chin to the chest, you can rotate chin to collarbone. Ear goes over the shoulder, rotate to the sky, ear over my other shoulder, drop the chin, rotate through, one more time, same direction. Collarbone, ear goes over, rotate chin to the sky, ear over my left shoulder, chin to collarbone, and come through and reverse. Collarbone, ear goes over, chin to the sky, other collarbone. One more time, finish that rep. Nice and slow, go at your own speed, make sure your shoulders down. Try to punch down towards the ground with those fists. Chin the collarbone, and rotate through. Very good, let's go to our cat-cow position. We're being in a quadruped position here. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. I'm just going to start up in my flexion, in my cat position. So I'm going to tuck my tailbone. I'm just going to round out that spine as much as I can. One thing let's work on here is let's kind of bend the elbows just a little bit. So you're totally pulling off, bend the elbows just a little bit. Tuck that tailbone, try to round out that lumbar spine. Try to round out that mid spine, upper spine, and then lastly the chin and the chest. And there I'm just going to just untuck the tailbone. So I'm just working on keeping everything else flexed. Just untuck my tailbone. And I'm just going to work one vertebra at a time. And squeeze each muscle that's connected to each individual vertebrae. Elbows stay slightly bent. I'm just going to work from lumbar spine to mid back, and then just continue to work up my back to work up the spine. From there, just work up mid back, lower T-spine. Squeeze each individual muscle. Lift the chest. Lift the T-spine, collarbones. Chin doesn't need to go all the way up to the sky, but just lift the chin. Some extension to the cervical spine. And there I'm going to start lumbar spine again, so elbows stay slightly bent. Just a little bit. Doesn't need to be fully locked, doesn't need to be fully bent here, just a little bit of bend. Think relax, or think like you're unsqueezing. That's a word. Each individual muscle attached to each vertebrae. As I come into flexion, I'm just going to work all the way back up the spine. Working one vertebra at a time. Trying to flex each individual segment. Round out that back, chin to the chest. Nothing else moves. Make sure I'm not shifting back this way. Make sure I'm not straightening up those elbows. A slight bend there. Now let's go one more rep. There. Untuck the tailbone. Try to just work the lowest segment of the spine. And then we're just going to slowly work all the way back up. All the way. Fully extend the T-spine. One second at a time. That's what we call it segmental cat-cow. Extend the T-spine, squeeze that upper back. Try not to squeeze the shoulder blades together. And there, last one, let's go all the way back. Tucking, 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 tucking. Work all the way up. All the way up. Each individual segment is contributing to that flexion. Continue to try to tuck the tailbone. Keep those elbows slightly bent. Tuck under with that tailbone. Squeeze that lumbar spine. Squeeze those abs. T-spine flexion. Chin to the chest. And relax. Okay. Very good. That was two segmental cat-cow in each direction. We're gonna go into our spine rotation. So if you want to take a block, sit on a block, sit on a pillow. You can do this from the seated position as well, or standing wide stance, or standing close stance. Squeeze the block in between your legs. There's really numerous positions you can train this from. I like to train this from the flaps kneeling position because that's going flaps kneeling. That's going to help me just round out that lumbar spine a little bit, so I can really focus on full flexion and extension from the spine. So lower border of the yoga block will be right on my sternum, right at the top of my rib cage. Squeeze that block nice and tight. Make sure I'm not struggling here, right? So I'm trying to pull down. Chin goes to my chest. Round out the full spine. So you have to tuck your tailbone, lumbar spine, T-spine. Rotate. Lateral flexion. Feel the stretch on that left side, the opening side. Extend one vertebra at a time. So starting at the tailbone, work all the way up to T-spine, shoulders down. Take full extension from there. Each vertebrae contributing just like our cow position. Rotate. Laterally flex. Pull my elbows to my rib cage. Come through, full flexion again. Let's go one more that same way. So starting from the tailbone, fully round out the spine. Rotate. Lateral flexion. One vertebra at a time, starting at the tailbone. Fully extend, get as tall as you can possibly be. Squeeze every single muscle that connects to each individual vertebrae. We want full contribution to the spine here. Rotate. Flexion, lateral flexion, I should say. Fully flex, start at that tailbone. Round out every individual vertebrae, come to the center, and reverse. Rotate. Lateral flexion. Extend one vertebrae at a time. Look up tall, over the top. Squeeze everything. There. Rotate. Lateral flexion to my right. Pull those elbows in. To the center, we got one more time. Starting at that tailbone, make sure everything's flexed. Rotate. Lateral flexion. Start at that tailbone. Extend. Get tall. Squeeze every muscle there. Rotate as far as you can go. Laterally flex as far as you can go. Elbows pull in. Through to the center. Second. Shake it out and relax. Very good. Okay, so we're going to go into some more kind of segmental part, or kind of segmented spine, I should say. So we did our segmental cat-cow. Now we're going to break the spine down into two components here. So we're going to focus first lumbar flexion, lumbar extension, then thoracic flexion, thoracic extension, and then we'll break them into three parts. So from here, I'm going to go into my supine position, feet flat on the floor, knees bent. Palms down on the ground here or palms up, it's up to you. We're just going to work on our pelvic tilts. So if you've done our spine classes with us before, you know what this one is. So I'm going to tuck my tailbone, I'm trying to lift my tailbone, and I'm trying to flex my lumbar spine, one vertebra at a time. So I'm trying to climb as high as I possibly can. I'm trying to lift that tailbone one vertebra at a time, put it off. Find your end there, and then just one vertebra at a time. Just back down to the floor. Back is fully flat. We got 4 more. We got 5 reps. Tuck, 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 tuck. Squeeze those abs. That's what controls the spine here, right? Work all the way back down. If you would like, you can go to a knee bent position, so you can move here, and then we can just do the same thing. A little bit more challenging in a way. Tuck. Squeeze those abs, and then we're control back down, back stays flat. That's 3. More challenging, you can go straight legs, it's up to you. Pull your knees more towards the chest, and your arms on the floor, or without the arms on the floor. My arms on the floor, it's going to be a little bit easier, so I can really just focus on that, and the arms there for stability. Come back down, so you got different ones to play with, different ones to work with. Find the one that's best for you. This will be the most challenging. Lift your legs straight in the air. By all means, you don't have to do it. Just find the one that's going to challenge you that you can do, but you don't have to compensate. Last one. lift that tailbone. Squeeze those abs. And control. Back down. Okay, there's lumbar flexion. So now we're going to work into thoracic locked lumbar extension. So I'm in quadruped. We've done this before as well. We're just kind of putting them all together in these spots here. So I'm going to drop my head between my arms. So this thoracic flexion I'm in. So I'm kind of rounding out the upper back. And it's just going to allow me to focus on the lumbar spine. So butts up in the air. Just back a little bit. So flexing the thoracic spine. Round it out. The forehead and the arms. And then I'm just working to extend the lumbar spine. So I'm trying to lift the tailbone, stick my butt out. And then I want to flex my lumbar spine. Tuck that tailbone, squeeze those same muscles that we just worked. Really the focus here will be the extension. Try to lift that tailbone, stick the butt out. Tuck that tailbone, pull it in. 2, 5 reps in play. Stand, squeeze, tuck, squeeze, 3. Slow each way. Tuck that tailbone, squeeze, try to round out that lumbar spine more. 4, last 1. Stand. And tuck. Squeeze and relax. Okay, so from here we'll go back to quadruped. We're back into our cat-cow position here. So I'm going to think stable kind of spine here, right? So I'm not fully flexed, not extended. Just think good neutral posture, we call it. So just from there, I'm just going to work. You may get some mid-back, which is totally normal. It's totally okay. Your spine is not used to functioning independent of the other segments. But we want to just think arch the low back and then tuck the tailbone. So I'm just trying to focus just exactly what we just did, now from a quadruped position. So stick the butt out, lift the tailbone, get a good squeeze on the lumbar spine. And round out the tailbone, tuck it under, flex the lumbar spine. That's 2. 5 reps here. Again, these aren't going to be perfect, especially if you're new to this, right? It's going to, just like anything with the body, especially with the joint, it's going to take time. It's going to take practice, repetition. But these will lay the groundwork, lay the foundation for stuff that you can work on, right? So I'm going to use this class. Ideally in front of a mirror is a great thing to do as well. Obviously I have a camera here, so a lot of it's going on. But if you have a mirror in front of you, you can really look to see where is movement coming from, is it coming from the right areas, and then use these things that you identify in the class to say, okay, this is something that I need to work on, and put time into it, really, every day. There's no real, it's fine as long as we're not doing, you can do pills and rails too much, right? Just you want to go light with the pills and rails, you're going to do it every day, and then like 2 harder sessions. But spinal motion work is definitely something I recommend you do every single day. It really, spine is 24 joints, right? So we don't move in those joints. If we have what's called pinch points, where we move for specific areas more so than we should, that will lead to complications, and that will lead to too much force, too much stress going into those specific areas of the spine. So the more that we can focus and disperse among each individual vertebrae, the better. And that really comes from practicing this stuff, trying to get pinpointed to specific areas, which is why we're here, right? So we're going to go into thoracic work now. So I'm going to go back on my back. Thoracic flexion first, and then thoracic extension. So when here, arms will be up, or arms will be down, but let's go arms up. Feet are on the floor, back to squat. I'm just going to flex the thoracic spine. So if we worked on thoracic or lumbar flexion, that was lower, kind of lower abs. Now we're working more kind of upper abs as I work to just get the chin in my chest. And I'm just going to flex, so squeezing abs, pulling the thoracic spine off the floor. And then I will lower thoracic spine back to the floor, 1 vertebrae at a time. Lower back sits flat to the ground. Think segmentally, so just like everything else, 1 vertebrae at a time. Come up off the ground as far as you can go, squeeze those abs. You go arms straight up, arms kind of more here. It's up to you. 2. 3 more. 1 vertebrae at a time. Flex, flex. Squeeze those abs. 1 vertebrae at a time, all the way back. Right, so if you think about what our outer layer of our core does, right, or if you think about the abs, obliques, it really works to move the spine, right? So if we do our spine training correctly, it should feel like we're doing an ab workout, right? Squeeze. 4, here we go, last one, so you can squeeze out a little bit more. Here we go, 1 vertebrae at a time, take your time. Each individual segment leaves the floor. Come up, come up, come up, all the way to the lumbar spine. Squeeze. Control it back in. Okay. Whew, that was thoracic flexion. Now let's go thoracic extension. So I'm going to go on my heels. I'm going to sit back in what's called like a modified prayer position or a flat squat ped, where I'll be down here. So if you have there's discomfort sitting on the heels, you can sit on a block, sit on a pillow, roll up a towel, roll up a yoga mat, throw something behind your legs, under your knees. Those kind of take some pressure off it. Or you could do this from a seated position, where you're seated on a chair and then you're just going to pull forward here. So what you do from here, keep your elbows to your sides, chin stays on the chest. So you've done a spine class where we've done this before. You can do a tennis ball, squeeze between your chin and your chest. I'm not going to do it here because it's going to be that much harder to top. But you want to squeeze like a tennis ball here. That just keeps your spine, chest really connected, so we can really just focus on thoracic work here. So elbows are down, kind of right outside my knees. Sit back on my heels. Let's go through lumbar flexion, which just allows me to really focus on thoracic spine. I'm going to extend 1 vertebra at a time. So I'm trying to lift my chest as far as I can go while I keep my rib cage on the leg. So I just want to stay here. So take a lift from there. Then show the logo of your shirt forward, but do not let your rib cage leave your legs. If you do, that shows that we're getting down from, we're getting motion extension from the lumbar spine. So kind of just focus on thoracic, which is what I do with tennis ball. You can walk out the cervical spine. Our position here walks out the lumbar spine. From there, keep your chin down. Take a lift your head. Take a lift the chest 1 vertebra at a time. Elbows can come off the floor. Lift the chest as far as I can go. Take your time, squeeze upper back until I get my ribs want to leave my legs. So about here, you're not going to get much. We don't have much thoracic extension, but we just want to get more than we currently have, right? And back down. That's 1. 4 more. Come up. Squeeze nice and slow. 1 vertebra at a time. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. As far as you can go, try to push a little further each time. Pull that chin to your chest. As far as you can go without that rib, without your ribs moving the legs. That's 2. Shut. Chin stays in the chest, lift the chest. Show your logo forward. Do not let your ribs leave the legs. More connection, more focus, more attention. Each individual rep. 3, 2 more to go. This should be the most challenging thing we do today because most people have no connection, or very little connection to the thoracic spine. Keep tucking the tailbone, keep trying to round out lumbar spine, and then lift the chest. Keep those ribs on the legs. Squeeze. Last one. Here we go. Gaze down. Lift the chest. Keep that chin down. Keep tucking that tailbone. Trying to lift the chest. Squeeze. Squeeze. As far as you can go. Breathe. Go further. Okay. Very good. So, just like we did from lumbar flexion extension, thoracic flexion extension. Now let's go back to quadruped. Knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders, and trying to keep a good stable brace, right? So let's focus on intra abdominal pressure here. So take a breath in, back the air, fill that whole torso cavity there, stay nice and tight. And from there, we're just gonna work, so keep everything tight. Thoracic flexion. So try not to press away from the floor like shoulder blade protraction, just like here, but really try to round up the thoracic spine. And from here, keep everything nice and tight. It's gonna be tough. Try to just extend the thoracic spine. You're not gonna get much flexion, extension, two, flexion, extension. So try to pull that shoulder, or sorry, pull your spine away from your shirt. Two more. Flexion. Extension. Last one. Flexion. And extension. Okay, so as we said, we're going to start with segmenting into two segments, right? So let's do flexion, or sorry, lumbar flexion extension, thoracic flexion extension. Now we're breaking into three parts. We already did lumbar and thoracic. Now we're just going to go mid-back. We'll do the same thing here. So we're just going to really focus on locking the body in place, keeping lumbar spine still, thoracic spine still. Just try to press. You're going to get some thoracic, you're going to get some lumbar, but try to just go mid-back and mid-back extension. Mid-back flexion. Just focus on this area right here. Again, you will get some thoracic, some lumbar, but we don't need a whole lot of motion here. So we're just trying to pinpoint just the middle of the back. So if we do a lot, right, that's where you'll start to get more lumbar and thoracic. So I want to just think mid-back flexion, mid-back extension. That's 3, 2, 1. Flexion, extension, flexion, use it, and extension. Okay, last thing we got today, pick a band here. So you're going to find an area that you felt like did not move as well. And so if you're in the thoracic spine, this would be kind of a choose your own adventure type activity, because if we're in thoracic, this is where we could go here, over the top of the back. You could actually cross your band. So if you have a band, if you don't have a band, you can use a towel, long sleeve shirt, really anything you got, just to give you some awareness, right? So now we're here in thoracic spine, and I can work on flexion, extension from that area. If I want to work more mid-back, now I can take my band under my arms, to kind of hook my hands in my band like this, right? So I come up and under, squeeze here. Now I can focus here, flexion, extension, or more lumbar. I can work from here, take from there, flexion, extension. So we're just going to find a couple areas. So we're going to do a few reps, and we got 5 reps in about 2 to 3 different areas. We're going to go a little longer than 25 minutes. Okay. So let's go. Let's kind of focus on one area, lumbar spine, you did move as well. One area mid-back, and one area thoracic spine. So from here, just like hands are down, full body brace, full body tension, and we're just going to just try to press the spine into that area of the band. And then from there, kind of just pull from just that area. That's one. Take your time here. After this class is over, if you want to just come back to this and continue to work on this, now that we've got built a lot of good connection in the spine, by all means, go back, focus on more than, we're just going to do 3 areas today, just kind of laying the groundwork for this type of work, but really what we want to do is called pinpoint training. We want to find the areas that do not move well, and we want to pinpoint those areas with your work, right? So the band will not only give you some awareness, something to press into, it'll also give you a little resistance. You push out of that band, and now it's going to be extension, like you started with. Now it kind of helps, it guides us. It's like somebody's fingers are pressing into your spine, allowing you to get more extension in that area. The more connection you have to the spine, better you're able to move each segment, better, right? So let's go kind of mid-back. I'm going to go higher mid-back. I know that's what I need to work. But for you, just experiment, find what's, I guess, worse for you, right? So you can get more practice there. From here, drive up, put spine in the band. Now pull the spine off the band. Extend, pull away. As much as you can, try to focus just in that area. Again, not going to be perfect. It's not going to be only this area. Also try not to overdo it, right? Because the more you try to press really far, then you get other areas working too. So this is really just a way to get some awareness of tactile feedback. So I can just start breaking that spine down from, say, 2 or 3 segments from now essentially 24, right? So you can do this on each individual vertebrae over time, of course, not in one workout, but just over time. And, maybe for a couple weeks, work on a few areas. Once you feel like you got good connection, good movement from those areas, then move on to other areas. Continue to work your way over the course of time, so eventually now you're able to control and move and manipulate each individual segment of the spine. One more here, so flex, press that band out, extend, pull that band in. Okay, last one, let's go thoracic. So this one will kind of come around, so instead of having the band under us, still keep that band crossed, right? So here, and then cross under, and I'm going to go around the back. Thoracic spine is usually where most people need the most work, the most focused attention, so take your time here, and there, without pronating the shoulder, without protracting the shoulder blades. Try to just round out the spine and the band, and pull away. 1. Just a little bit. 2. 3. 4. 5. Okay, go band off to the side. Let's just go 2 more segmental cat-cows. All day. So here, knees under the hips, hands on the shoulders. Back a little bit. Let's go with flexion. Spine should be feeling quite a bit different, quite a little bit more connected here. So we're just going to go segmentally, 1 vertebrae at a time. Go a little faster than we did earlier. But again, if you want to finish up this video, break these down even more, do even more band hinge point training. You can also do it in the supine position. Just come around that lumbar spine. Individual segments working here, slight bend in the elbows. One more time. Extension. That's 1. All the way back. Flexion, 1 vertebrae at a time. And relax. Again, those are a little quicker than we typically want to do them, but let's take time, let's take those spots. We're just kind of finished up, just kind of re-ingraining that connection, just like when we do kills and arrows, you want to finish with the cars. You just want to kind of re-ingrain that to the brain, to the nervous system, to show the brain what we can do, right after just breaking the spine down into more component parts. So, thank you for joining me today's 25-minute. We'll actually turn into a 30-minute spine class. I hope you enjoyed it. That was a kind of a overall kind of comprehensive approach. And of course, there's more we can do. There's more specificity we can put into the spine. But we're just continuing to build that out, continuing to break the spine down 2 to 3 to eventually all 24 segments. So the more spine work you can put in your daily routine, the better. We don't move our spine enough in today's world. So continue to work on those segmental cat-cows. Do your spine cars, break them down with your band or your towel, t-shirt, whatever you're using for the hinge point training, and just continue to build on it, continue to stay consistent, and I'll see you at the next class.